listening to The Edward Fowler Show. Now, here's your host, Edward Fowler.
Welcome to another flashback week. It is Friday, the 1st of March 2024. Happy new month, everybody, to all my listeners. I can't believe that we're approaching a month now of doing these podcasts. Of course, most of these are, of course, taken straight from my YouTube channel, where, of course, they broadcast live first. But there's a few flashback episodes which I've never actually had in full on my YouTube channel. Only on the audio version, and that's why I'm re-uploading them right here as why not, and we're calling them flashback episodes. So we're going to put all my archives on here from the past 5 years from YouTube, and you'll see that in the next few weeks or so, where once we get all the ones which are not uploaded to YouTube on here, we'll then start uploading the ones from YouTube onto here as well, so it'll be quite good. But I want to give a shout firstly. I posted a story on my Instagram yesterday, something about, as I found personally funny. I was scrolling through TikTok and I saw a funny video of a car waiting at, one of the traffic signs in the UK where it says, wait behind here when it's on red type thing, when it's like roadworks. And this lady on the pavement decided to wait as well, which is absolutely hilarious. I found it hilarious, by the way, because I've never seen that before, where somebody actually on the pavement could just carry on walking, fine, because it doesn't affect the pavement people, just the road users, decided to stop and wait for the traffic light to go to green. It was the funniest thing ever. So I posted it on my Instagram story for hopefully all my followers to also enjoy if you've not seen that clip before. And out the blue, a former WWE wrestler, Hall of Famer, one of the bushwhackers, saw my story. It was like, this is mind-blowing, because it wasn't wrestling related. It was something comical in a real-life situation in the UK. And Bushwhacker Luke, shout out to him, somehow came across my Instagram page and saw my story. So I appreciate Bushwhacker Luke for checking out my Instagram. Maybe you're listening to this right now. If so, thank you very much for liking. Maybe in the future we can have you on the show to explain how you came across that particular Instagram post. But now let's get to the topic of the day, because this is really why you've all tuned in and listened in here this week. It's for my flashback episode. I did a post on my Instagram story on Wednesday, a poll. So we did a poll on Wednesday, and the poll was, 3 options. One of them was Ace Austin, another one was Brad Gilmore, and the other one I cannot remember at the top of my head. So, of course, if you remember last week, I put Ace Austin in the poll, and unfortunately he came second behind Chris Van Vliet. So Chris Van Vliet was uploaded this week. I did another poll, and I include Ace Austin, and funny enough, Ace Austin won. So I am pleased to now give you the entire interview of my great conversation with Ace Austin from 2019, before he was this big megastar, as he is now in Total Non-Stop Action TNA. Back then he was part of MLW, Major League Wrestling, and Impact Wrestling, now known as TNA once again. So here it is in 4. I hope you all enjoy listening to my conversation with Ace Austin. I hope you don't mind me saying this, and I hope the people who set this up for me won't mind me saying this either, but it's a privilege having this person on the show. Of course, he's done a lot of TV work over the past year. If you don't know, he's appeared on WWE TV, on 205 Live. It was a fantastic match, by the way, against the Lucius Howe Party. Great tag team. Very, very entertaining. And then, of course, Major League Wrestling is where I came across your work even more on Free Sports every single Monday night at 10 p.m. And then, of course, it's a pleasure to welcome on Ace Austin. Welcome to my show, The Fowler Show.
Hello.
Hello. And it's a pleasure you're on the show. And I want to start off firstly, and I apologize if you've been asked this question before, but I just want to know, curiously, is what got you into watching wrestling?
That's fine. It's a super common question. wrestling was definitely watched in my family before me, but I remember the specific instance that wrestling kind of clicked with me was Rob Van Dam versus Shawn Michaels heavyweight championship match.
Oh, nice. That's a good old classic.
Yeah. That I think it was like 2000 or 2001 or one of those.
Nice. That's
I was
cool.
about 4 or 5.
Wow, quite young, and at least it got you into like, wow, I want to be a part of this. And then all these years later, you got involved.
Yeah, it changed my life. It changed me and my brother's life. We'd wrestle in the living room. We'd set up couch cushions on our dining room chairs as tables, and put each other through the couch cushions. And we'd book shows in little notebooks. And I used to wrestle as various superheroes all the time. I'd wrestle as the Flash and all that stuff. So
Cool. Well, it sounded like you had a wonderful childhood with plenty of exciting moments to do with wrestling. And then, at what age did you get into training, and how did you actually find a training school to start to train to be a wrestler?
well, I didn't know that wrestling schools existed at all. I didn't really know. I didn't have any concept of independent wrestling outside. I didn't have any concept of wrestling outside of the WWE at all until I started like training and all that stuff. Because where I'm from, wrestling wasn't popular enough that I would have been exposed to any kind of independent show, and independent shows weren't really like frequent in my area at all. So, and there's an athletic commission in Pennsylvania, so that also plays a factor in that will play a factor as I start training. But previously, it was just I just thought it was like I got to show up somewhere and just do something, and that's how I'm going to do it, I guess. As a kid, it was just, so I just kept going through with interests and hobbies, and I got a little retail job when I was 14 and whatever. And when they started asking us about colleges and stuff in middle school, I looked into stuntman college because I thought that would be the closest thing to getting me somewhere near it.
Yeah.
So I looked into stuntman colleges and whatever, and then I started, I think I was like 16 when I did a little more research, and I ended up finding that wrestling schools did exist, and that the Wild Samoans, there was a Wild Samoan training center in Mineola, Florida. So I told my boss at my retail job that I was going to start saving money, and I wanted to move to Florida and maybe transfer jobs so I could have a job while I was training down there. And that was my original plan, was to move down to Florida when I turned 18 after I graduated high school and train with the Wild Samoans. But during my it had to be my junior year. During my junior year, my boss from my retail job calls me and says that there was a girl in the store looking for some accessories to go with her, with what she wears as a wrestling manager.
Oh, right, okay.
And she trained at the Wild Samoans in Allentown, Pennsylvania.
Nice.
So that's how I found out that there was a training school in Pennsylvania that was only an hour and 15 minutes from my house. So he gave her my information, and I got in touch with them, and I had to do a senior project the following year, and I chose to do it on wrestling, naturally.
Why not?
And so that was that was a way to knock two birds out with one stone, in the fact that I could set up some kind of a meetup to get the requirements for my senior project. I had to do like an on-site visit and interview people and just all this stuff. So I figured I could do that while simultaneously getting my foot in the door and asking about training.
Yeah.
So I ended up getting in contact with the Wild Samoans in Pennsylvania to set up my senior project visit interview, and that was on March 1st, 2014. AFA was coming up from Florida to do a big 3-generation tag match thing. It was going to be it was a real big show for them, and it was the first time I'd ever been to an independent wrestling show ever. Was that. So I showed up. I got to be the timekeeper for that show. I got to ring the bell. I asked what age they started training, and they said 17 with parental consent. Mm-hmm. And I had turned 17 the day before, March 1st, 2017. Or 2014, I mean. So that's what I did. I did my senior project, and then I started doing the paperwork and everything for training. And my first official day of training was May 27th, 2014. And then I debuted April 1st, 2015, because here's where the athletic commission comes into play. Yeah. I wasn't allowed to perform in front of an audience until I was 18. It was like so I had like 8 months of training.
But couldn't use it.
Yeah, exactly. Just 8 months of training and just whatever, just grinding as hard as I could until I could finally get that first match. And then I just took off from there.
Yes, and people are calling you the uprising of professional wrestling, the upcoming star in pro wrestling, and I agree with the people who are saying that, because you've been given a lot of opportunities, and I really do hope that in the
burned every single one of them.
Yeah, exactly, and I hope that in the future you be on the main stage somewhere, either in Major League or Impact Wrestling as their champion, or somewhere else. In that matter, because there's a lot of good things happening in pro wrestling today.
Absolutely, and that's that really changed. Like I said, that run-in with the Samoans was my first exposure to any kind of independent wrestling. So once I started learning more about everything that's out there beyond the WWE, it totally changed everything about the way that I looked at wrestling and also my life, because those two things are a cohesive unit. So that's just how it is for me.
Yeah, it's a good outlook, because then you can see what opportunities may come along outside WWE. And I want to know as well then how you got your foot in the door with Impact and Major League Wrestling, because they are, Impact Wrestling, been around since June 19th, the day after my birthday, June 19th, 2002, when the first show happened. Very weird how it happened the day after my birthday, but even so, how did you get how do you get your foot in the door? Because, phenomenal companies, Major League Wrestling and Impact.
Well, for me, I've spent... I'm just a little over 4 years into my career now, so I've spent every year to a year and a half in just different areas. I started in that Pennsylvania area. I got my training, I got my start, and then I started kind of venturing out more towards the East Coast with the Jersey, all those indies and the Jersey indies and the CZW dojo, and I got my opportunities with Combat Zone, and then that introduced me to David Starr, who started taking me on the road with him a whole lot. And that's how I found opportunities up in the Northeast, and then, a little bit here and there. And then I ended up going to the Midwest with David Starr, and that's how I met the Midwest crowd, the Dave and the Jay Christ and Sami Callihan.
Oh, yes, the crazy guy, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, what a nutter he is. But yeah,
so that's how I met them. And then as David Starr started taking his opportunities overseas, I continued building my relationships with the people in the Midwest, and then I moved to the Midwest. So it's like I've spent about a year and a half and some change in just different regions, and that's how I've been able to get my name across so many different platforms so fast, because I'm the guy that's always been willing to get in a car that's going as far as it can go. I don't care how long we're going to be in the car for. I'm not worried about any of that. This is what I've decided to dedicate my life to. So there's no reason to not look for those opportunities. And that's how so many doors opened up for me, and how I built relationships with so many people. And then that led to once Dave and Jake and Sammy all got signed to Impact. Impact started coming around the Midwest to Ohio more, and having a look at our guys. And I 100% stand out from anybody that you put me in a ring or in a building with. That's just how it is.
Yes.
And
Yes, you are the best. Yeah, there's no question about it. You're what's best for business for Impact. You draw the ratings for Impact, and there's no questions about that. And if anyone in Impact Wrestling want to disagree with me, come on this show and have a debate with me, because I will say Ace Austin is number one.
Number one, yeah. And that's just, and I'm only just starting. People already people think that, and I've barely scratched the surface of anything. There's so much more up my sleeve. It's something. So that's how Impact started looking at our guys and me specifically, and also I'm again willing to get in the car and just be places. So when Impact was doing shows in Canada and not in Ohio, I was still there. My face was still there in front of them because I was jumping in those cars going to there. So they saw my face in Canada, they saw my face in New York then, and just they gave me an explosion match here, and they let us do the 6-man match here, and then finally they made me an offer, and
they totally did.
Yeah, and right around that same time was when I got my first opportunity with MLW. I just had a lot of people that I worked really well with that were getting signed with MLW and everything, and because my name is so because my name pops up no matter what you do, you can't not hear my name. It's just how it is.
No, you can't. Yeah, if you're back.
So MLW heard my name, and an opportunity came up to have a match with them in Chicago, and so went out to Chicago, did that match, impressed, and they kept wanting to bring me back. So I had offers from them, and I had offers from Impact, and then I got to do that WWE thing all within the same month, 2 month span. I got all these great opportunities, and then offers came out of all these opportunities, and potential offers and all these things, and Impact was just the best one, just the best fit for me.
Yeah. Well, it's good. It's good because you made quite the impact. See how I did that in the past few weeks, and you're wrestling for Impact more and more. And in the past few weeks, you've had some great matches with the likes of Peter Williams as well. One of the veterans now of the wrestling business, and especially in Impact. Yeah. And as well, then I got a question for you. And who would you like to face in Impact Wrestling then? Who you've not faced so far yet, but who you would love to face? Because there's some returning people who've not been in Impact for a while who are now back again. So
myself and Rich Swann have indeed crossed paths in a ring, but not for Impact Wrestling yet. And not one-on-one for Impact Wrestling yet, I should say. Because I have had some scramble opportunities on these Twitch shows. But one-on-one, it's going to be just wait and see when that match finally happens. There's one. Rob Van Dam's totally at the top of that list now, 100%.
Of course, he has to be, because he's the one who got you, hooked, kind of thing.
He's one of those. Yeah, he's him, and that image is burned in my brain forever. The first thing that made me really want to be a wrestler. So Rob Van Dam's at the top of that list, and I can't wait for that match. Of course, Johnny Impact. Mm-hmm. Him and I are gonna have a really good one. Who else? Yeah, no, I'm anybody. Line him up, I knock him down.
Yeah. Well, what about Brian Cage? Because he's like a freak. He's like a monster freak in there with his big muscles and his big physique. Sure. I'm sure it'll be a good match.
Oh, it definitely will be a good match. He's never been in the ring with anybody like me, though.
No, he hasn't.
The Machine can. He can do whatever he wants, but it's gonna be hard to get his hands on me. It's gonna be hard to catch me. Yeah. I know my way in and out of that ring like nobody else. So the Machine, he moves robotic. Mm-hmm. He don't have the kind of movements I do.
You're more agile and more faster than anybody else I've seen in the past few years. But I have to say though, you and Sami Callihan, great. You guys travel the roads together, and I don't know how you can be in the same car with him for ages, because he's nuts and he's very crazy guy.
Oh yeah, I live with him right now, actually.
Oh, you do? Oh, I hope it's not in the same room as you. Then.
Oh no. He's not even here right
Oh,
now.
that's
He's
good
off
to know.
doing his crazy Sami Callihan stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I just have a room in his house and try to steer clear of the crazy.
That's pretty cool because I know I know he does a lot of spitting. And did you teach him that, or is that what he already had?
No. He's pretty set in his ways. All right, there's not much I'm teaching him. He's
So with the future talent coming in these companies, then have you able to give any advice to these up and coming wrestlers? Give them like things they should know, like to have airtime or moves and such as they come through. Since you picked up all this in the past few years, since you had a lot of opportunities in other places.
number one piece of advice I can give to anybody, and this will probably hold true throughout the duration of my career forever, is just to get in cars. To just get in cars and go places. You cannot expect to get your name anywhere or to be discovered by staying in the spot that you're in. Mm-hmm. That's never how it works. That's just not how, unless that spot is already at the top. If you're just getting trained by somebody who runs a small fed and barely puts their shows up on YouTube, mm-hmm. nobody's going to ever see what you have to offer. You have to get out there. You can't just expect offers to come. You gotta bite the dust a little bit. You gotta hit the road. You gotta spend some money out of your pocket. That's just how it works. Figure it out. Just put yourself where the opportunities are, and one of the opportunities will find you. And then it's up to you to perform.
Absolutely. I agree with that, and I hope people who listen to this will agree with that, because it is. Because if you just stay in one area, it's going to be very hard for you to get your name out. And there's a lot of promotions out there who don't put their shows on YouTube either, which I think is a bit annoying, because it gives, exposure not just to the company, but the talents who are part of the show, and helps them to get, a bit more exposure, which I like.
That's the number one question I get asked when I go back to places that I wrestled and that I worked at when I started wrestling, that I haven't been at for a couple of years with the bigger things I've been doing. Every time I go back there, I've got, younger guys or some old friends or people who always ask me, like, oh, well, how do you do it? How did you do it? What do I do? And that's it. I haven't seen your face anywhere but here, and that's the problem. Your face has to be everywhere. You got to find a car that's going somewhere and just get in that car.
Yeah, exactly. So this is going to be hopefully a different question for you, but I'm interested to know as well that in the different areas you go into, in the different areas you've been to, like New York and, Chicago and the Midwest,
Wrestled in 22 states.
Yeah, wrestled in 22 states. The fan base in every 22 states are very different, aren't they? And have they all been receiving towards you, or have some not really liked your work ethic in that?
I feel like I am an anomaly in professional wrestling, in the fact that you don't have a choice but to be amazed by what you've seen or by what you're seeing. So whether you like me or you don't like me, that's not what I'm in the business for. I'm in the business to perform and to be who I've always wanted to be. And so that's the general consensus is, wow, you're really good at what you do. That's just how it is everywhere I go. But the fan bases are so incredibly different. I've wrestled in Mississippi, all the way down in Mississippi, and then all the way up in Maine and in Canada. And it's like, it's different. Very, very different everywhere you go. The different regions and sometimes just individual towns are different inside of the same state or region. Yeah. You got to read. You got to watch the show before you, after you, and you got to read the crowds
to see how they would read you as well. But have you got a particular state you like wrestling in the most, or do you like wrestling in every state you can? Is there not a particular one you love to wrestle in more often?
Mexico's always a lot of fun, but State-wise, Rhode Island. I really like the Northeast. Rhode Island and Massachusetts are some really good places. Also, I mean, Dayton, Ohio. The fan base we have with Rockstar Pro is incredible.
Yes.
That is unlike anything else in itself.
What are your goals then? Because obviously it'd be cool if you came over here and wrestled more over here as well, or in Europe, not just here in the UK, but across Europe, and hopefully either with Major League Wrestling or with Impact in the next coming months. But you got any plans to come over here and show the people of the UK and Europe your skills and why you are the number one and why you draw ratings to these TV shows?
Absolutely. It's my goal list is not crazy specific because, as I've said, one of the things that changed my life completely was learning about just the wealth of wrestling that's in the world, like how rich wrestling is all over the world and how incredibly exotic it is. It's just the most unique form of entertainment that there is. And so yeah, definitely UK, England is totally on my list. Japan, obviously, definitely on the list. Germany. I want to wrestle. Everybody says that I want to wrestle everywhere, but I do want to. I keep track of every single match that I have. I keep track of the date, the participants, if there's a stipulation, the state, country it was in, the company that it was for, win-loss. I keep track of all of it. And that's because I just want to see a big number when I'm done with this. I want to see a number that's like unheard of, that's unlike anybody else has ever done.
I like it. And I hope you'll be wrestling until 50s, until you decide when it's time to give up. I'm hoping it's not until then.
It's always been my plan, just to wrestle until my body doesn't work anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
It's what I feel like I've been designed for. It's what I feel like I've been made for. So I want to serve my purpose to its fullest extent, and then whatever after that.
I like it. So when you go into the backstage area of any show, what do you do to warm up for a match? And do you get any nerves before any of your matches now, or is no nerves anymore? No,
I don't really get nervous because this is what I do.
Yes.
It's hard to be nervous when I'm in it 100% at all times. This is totally what I'm destined to do, as dramatic as it can sound. So nerves, no, not really an issue. I'm confident in what I do, and I know that what I do comes across. So as far as like warm up go, yeah, I like to try to get there so I can feel the ring out, because every ring is very different, and the ropes always move differently, and there's always different sizes, and so I like to feel the ring out. I like to obviously get stretched out. It's hard to do what I do without being limber and ready to go.
Yes. And what kind of exercise do you do then before you go out to the ring? Then what kind of exercises do you do? Like warm ups, press ups.
Before the show, I'll do a lot of just like hip flexibility, warm my knees up, my ankles, the whole thing. Just warm up for impact, like in the ring, basically. And then in the back, it's more so just getting your body fired up before you go out. Just resistance bands, whatever. Just it's kind of a whole body. You just kind of gotta do like a calisthenics circuit to just get your whole body warmed up before you go through the curtain.
Okay. Interesting. I like it. So now, of course, there are not very good people in Impact Wrestling, as we know. You got the annoyance of Josh Matthews on commentary, unless you like his commentary. Do you like his commentary? I do like his commentary. I used to before, he's gone back to being, his normal, but he was a cracking heel a few years ago. But do you like his commentary? And do you have any beef with anybody backstage who you love to settle in the ring with?
Well, I've settled my beef with Petey Williams that he decided to start, and he stuck his nose in my business, and
You teach him a lesson. You put him in his place.
You learned what happens when you do that. So there's other than that, nobody's really stepping on my toes. I'm getting ready to step on a lot of toes because, I'm not going to be treated like a new guy. The fact that nobody has any issues with me yet is kind of an issue to me.
Yeah.
People should have an issue with the fact that I'm about to just take the whole thing. I'm about to take everybody's spot.
Yeah, and get to the top place and be the world champion. Yeah,
I'm transcending the X division. There's not it's going to be the Ace division. It's going to be the Ace division. It's not, and that Ace division isn't going to be specific to people who are considered X division wrestlers. The Ace division is going to include everybody because everybody can get this. Everybody can get some of this.
Yes, the moneymaker of professional wrestling. He's the moneymaker. He's the face where you can make some money. Just let my listeners know, of course, if you've been living under a rock for the past year and a half and you don't know who Ace Austin is, where can my listeners find you on social media to keep up with all news regarding you, where they can find you at events and any upcoming appearances you may be making in the future?
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter, both at _Ace_Austin. Facebook is just Ace Austin. I have a YouTube channel, but that's I gotta get a new computer before I can really mess with my YouTube channel. So just all you gotta do is look my name up, and you'll find.
Yeah.
You don't gotta look at my channel because it's gonna be everybody's channel.
Yeah. I'm very surprised you don't do Snapchat. Very surprised by that. I
have a Snapchat, but it's private. It's my for me, from my friends and people. I don't think Snapchat's I don't consider Snapchat a public social media platform. That doesn't make sense to me. It's just I'm not going to be sending funny selfie Snapchats in my room to wrestling fans. That's just not what I'm about.
Well, it sounds like you do that to your personal friends and to Sami. Then it sounds very lovely indeed. So then, as well, will you be heading back to Major League Wrestling anytime soon? Because I know they're coming on the road now, aren't they? June 1st, they're heading.
Yeah, Milwaukee, June 1st. I'll be there.
Yeah. You're going to be in Chicago as well, and to New York. Any foreseeable show that doesn't conflict with Impact Wrestling, I will be there. Great. And is there anyone, there's some great talent in Major League Wrestling, you've got Ace Romeo, you've got Barrington Hughes, you've got, a lot of good wrestlers there. And you faced some, and I've seen you, a few weeks ago on Free Sports, where you had a cracking match on there. Is there anyone you want to have a rematch with?
Well, Teddy Hart, World Middleweight Championship.
Yeah.
I had one, and didn't get it done, unfortunately, but I got it. Yeah, definitely.
What about Brian Pillman Jr.? He's do you like him?
Oh man, I'd like to slap him around. Yeah, wait for that match. Yeah. He's somebody that definitely needs to learn him a little something.
Oh, you do? Oh, really? I don't think he does. He's a top talent in Major League Wrestling. He's one of my favorites. You gotta slap him around.
Sure. But he's just that third, second generation snob. Really, that's it.
Oh well, I look forward to seeing that match, and I hope that Brian Pillman Jr. will beat you up. As we say in Manchester, beat your ass.
I don't think it's what it takes.
Yeah, but I do hope that any other challenger in Impact or Major League Wrestling, apart from Brian Pillman Jr., you beat, because you're the one who brings the ratings. And when you last appeared on Major League Wrestling, I will say this for a fact, the ratings were higher than any other episode so far. So I think they need to bring you back more often.
Yeah.
It's been a pleasure having you on the Fowler Show. But before we let you go, I got some quick fire questions I want to ask you firstly as well, just to let my fans know you a bit more. Are you a cat or dog person, or not? Any of them?
As far as preference goes, I would get a cat before I would get a dog, just because I feel like cats will be a little easier to take care of in my current position in life.
Of course, yeah.
But yeah, I do love dogs. Yeah, I like them both, but a cat is definitely the route I'd go first.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't blame you. What's your favorite food?
Favorite food?
Okay, that's a tough one, isn't it? There you go.
I like me some ground turkey.
Ooh, ground turkey, lovely.
Yeah, turkey's real good. I like turkey meat. I like swordfish is my favorite seafood. I'll tell you that. Yeah.
I can deal with that. Your favorite color, like in the wrestling ring. Have you got any favorite colors?
Purple, 100%.
Oh, purple. Okay. I'm more of a blue, even though I support Manchester United, the best club in the world, by the way, the best soccer team in the world.
Purple and blue are my favorite color combination. So.
Okay, I like it now, even better now. I see you're on my side. There you go, purple and blue. Do you like American football?
I'm not really an organized sports guy.
Oh, aren't you?
Can't really. Nope.
Aww.
I like to live my life in a really exotic and unconventional way, so I don't really have time for sports.
Fair enough. Favorite country to visit?
Ones that I've been in already, yeah.
Well, anyway, it could be ones that you visited already or want to visit. You may not have visited so far.
Well, I've only been in. Well, I've only wrestled in 3 countries, but I did go on a Caribbean cruise one time to Jamaica and Haiti and Mexico. Jamaica was a lot of fun. So far, Mexico has kind of been. I've had some traumatic experiences in Mexico, but I think Mexico has definitely been my favorite to be in. Canada's cool, but Mexico's something else.
Yeah. Canada, I'm going to say it's a bit chilly up there, isn't it? In Canada, it gets really cold up there. Same in New York, and of course the windy city of Chicago as well. But yeah, thank you for answering them quick fire questions. And that was my interview with Ace Austin from 2019. It feels like yesterday when that conversation came out, and I'll give you another funny story as well. Do with Ace Austin. Apparently. I spoke to some other people from other shows who know him and whatnot, and they were telling that after I interviewed him, he was telling people about me on indie shows. I don't know how true that is. Again, it wasn't from his mouth. His mouth. It was from other people saying that. Oh yeah, he mentioned you, and he liked it, and all this, and it would be a pleasure to have him back on my show. But unfortunately, the company who does the publishing for giving more the interview requests won't allow me at the moment to actually have any of the TNA wrestlers on my show because I don't meet their criteria, which is understandable. But hopefully, through the power of this podcast, through the audio version and through my YouTube channel, I hope we can grow that and be able to get on some great people as well, because even though I can't get on those type of people, wrestlers from TNA and all that business, but I can get on fantastic musicians, and I got 2 musicians coming on the show this coming week. I'll be announcing one on Sunday on my Instagram, and I'll be announcing another one on Wednesday. And all I will say is that one is a New Zealand singer, and the other one is a fantastic singer. I can't wait for you to find out who they are. So you'll find out on my social media on Sunday night, and on Wednesday you will find out who they are. But until then, I hope you all enjoyed this flashback edition of my show. And if you did, then please give me a rating on your favorite podcast sites. It really does help me out, because the more ratings I get, the more comments I receive. It does boost. It boosts the algorithm up so that this gets pushed out to more and more people on your favorite podcast sites, and as well on youtube.com/Edward Fowler with over 231 subscribers. And if you want to see brand new content, go there first, because you see the video version of the show before it gets uploaded as an audio episode within 24 hours after it's being published on YouTube. So all of that is thanks to your support, and I hope you all continue to support this channel and help me to grow the fan base on both YouTube and here on the audio version of my show. But until the next episode drops, enjoy the rest of your morning, night, evening, or afternoon.
You've been listening to The Edward Fowler Show. Subscribe and leave a rating on Apple Podcasts or follow on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts to get new and flashback episodes every week. More on Facebook and Instagram at Edward Fowler Show and edwardfowlershow.com.